Behind me is 8 Sleep's brand new Pod 5 Ultra, and this set lives up to its name. We have the left and the right base. This is gonna go underneath your existing mattress, and it's able to elevate it in the middle of the night if it detects that you're snoring. Or you could just elevate certain parts of it, and it gets you into a little bit more of a comfortable position, or even able to have the back elevated without having a ton of pillows behind you. Really nice, and that just goes right underneath your mattress. This is the hub up here, and this is the brains of the operation. This is what is able to get those temperatures sent through the cover at around 55 degrees all the way up to 110. So blissfully cold or blazing hot, whatever you'd like, and it's able to send that on one side or the other or the whole set, so you can have it your way. Behind me, brand new to the Pod 5, this is awesome. So you have the beautiful temperatures down below keeping you hot or cold. Well, that's not enough for everyone, right? So behind me over here, again, this is the cover, and this is gonna go on top of you, giving you a full immersion, a full 360 beautiful immersion of any desired temperature that you want. This is super exciting. I'm ready to get this unboxed, set up on the mattress, and have many nights of amazing sleep ahead. First thing we gotta do is we gotta get this bed cleaned up. Probably helps if you have someone to help you with this process. We had to make it look pretty for the setup though, right? The hub is the brains of the operation. This is kind of more or less, you can think about this. This is like the desktop computer. You need your monitor, you need your keyboard, you need all the other pieces to make it work. But without the brains of the operation, you don't have anything at all going on. But of course, you need to have the full set for it to work. Well, let's go ahead and get this unboxed over here. The boxes are pretty large. This is for a king size bed, so the boxes are fairly large. It really is roughly around the same size of a desktop computer setup. Important cabling in here, so we'll hold on to this. Do not throw that away. And here is your Pod 5 hub. We'll get into this a little bit later. You're gonna lift this up over here. This is where you put your water into. That's going to be circulating throughout the cover. Fairly heavy, but again, it's not something you're gonna be moving around really often at all. There's actually some water in there, which is a positive sign. That means that 8 Sleep is most likely doing some validation and testing of these units before they get sent out. The next piece for us to check out here, this is the cover. Between the hub and the cover, realistically, that's all you need to have a 8 Sleep set. You don't need to have the base down below that elevates it. You don't need to have the blanket on top. But realistically, between the hub that you just saw, and we're gonna get into the cover over here, that would be enough to have a really awesome set. So depending on your finances and really what you want, get what you need. Again, the cover over here, this is something that we want to be fairly delicate with as we are cutting through it. That's because throughout here, and there's some really great videos on YouTube that show what it's like inside. I know Jerry Rig Everything did a video, I believe it was of the Pod 4, showing off what's actually going on inside. Wouldn't be surprised if What's Inside has a video as well on that. Give it the Harlem Shake. All right. Beautiful packaging, by the way, with all of this. Very nice. Okay, so in here is our cover that's gonna go on top of our existing mattress. Again, with the Pod 5, the Pod 4, anything else that 8 Sleep has made. They actually used to sell mattresses, not sure if they do anymore, but this is gonna go on to any existing mattress. They have it for queen, for king, for Cali King, and I believe for twin as well. So it's nice that they include it in this bag in case there is a time where you move and you can keep everything stored nice and tidy for when that time comes. All right, there is a tear here. We're gonna tear that and not slice through it, not taking any chances with this. I know this is durable and that 8 Sleep has done its testing. All right, so here's your first look at the cover. That's gonna go on top, again, on top of your existing mattress. We'll set this up here. We should do the base first. We should definitely do the base first. We're gonna take this, put it off to the side, and we're gonna do the base before we set up everything else. That'll help us out a lot. All right, we got things moved around a little bit here, cleaned up. That's because we actually have to take our mattress off now. Again, you're able to keep your mattress, but if you do get the Pod 5, well, this is gonna be heavy. This is gonna be a little heavy. If you do have an existing mattress, you're able to keep that, but you might wanna find some help in this process. I'm just gonna struggle on through this and we're gonna see what happens. All right, let's figure this out. You know, if you have a bad back, you might want a little army to help you out with this. And this is a really heavy mattress, holy cow. get it into a position where I could flip it up and lean it against the wall. We're just gonna speed this whole thing up. Nobody has to endure the same pain that I'm enduring. With your knees, not with your back. Or is it the other way around? I feel like Samson, but not as strong. Easy does it. I'm both proud and disappointed in myself. These things are heavy. The rest of the setup, if you were to get just the hub and the cover, it's super lightweight. Anybody could set that up. If you do opt in for 8 Sleep's Ultra, which is realistically, it's just the base setup over here. Not base as in like the lowest tier, but the base that goes underneath your mattress. I don't know what the weight is, but it's fairly heavy. So you're probably gonna wanna have someone do this with you, or if you are stubborn and Italian, you could do it yourself. Like you don't really need friends or anyone to help you in life. There we go. See, told you, almost there. Lost the finger. This is the right side, again, which I'm gonna assume is gonna go on this side. What's really cool with the base on the Pod 5 Ultra compared to previous bases is that this one comes with some actual bass. Not making any jokes there. Well, it's probably not super bassy, but this comes with a speaker in the actual base this time. So you're able to play things like brown noise, white noise. Have to check through some of the other options. I know that they have Huberman on here as well. So you could have some very nice meditation, soothing voice to get you all lulled up for bed. We have our right base over here in a really nice case. Now again, this is probably something where it would make sense to have a little bit of help. A lot of cables, probably not anything else that I should cut through at this point. This is where we need to be careful. Act like an adult. Well, everything we do in life helps us be better equipped for the next time we need to make a important decision. Again, lift with your back, not with your knees. Oh, you can always. All right, so we're gonna just swivel this around. All right. There are 99% chance some really good instructions out there. All right, slide this up on over. So 8 Sleep doesn't tout this probably as much as they should, but this is really cool. There's motion sensors under here. So as this is raising or lowering itself, if there's a cat or a kid underneath there or yourself for some reason, it will make sure that you don't get squashed in the process. So the right side is going to go over there. There are connector pieces that go in the middle of the setup over here, and that's going to keep everything together. A little improvement for 8 Sleep, probably put a little picture on the box or inside of it, maybe on the box, that shows a mattress with where the pillows are, and that would just make it even that much easier, and then highlight where it goes. So we have our left base over here. Same process, probably more or less, but there's gonna be some cables that we have to connect. This is our left base, so you gotta make sure that you set everything up correctly. Measure once, cut twice is what I always say. All right, turn this over. Bada bang. Okay. Yeah, you could see these handles. Oh, wow. The handles on here are like velvet. Holy cow. Yeah, 8 Sleep's level of... Okay. Don't hate me. I just noticed that there is exactly what I was thinking should be on here. There's a little diagram right here that shows exactly where this is supposed to go on the bed. Clearly shows that this would go on this side of the bed. And because it's important, before we even continue, again, just to show off how silly I am sometimes, there's exactly what I was thinking, which would be, wow, a nice little diagram that shows where the pillows are and a highlight of the mattress, or not the mattress, but where you're placing one of these units on. So now you know. But let's go ahead and get this next piece rather heavy. So it'd be wise to either get a friend or make some friends who could help you with this. Small piece, but an important piece right here. This is the connecting plate. This is gonna go in the middle of your two bases, your left and your right base. Take our base connector plate, and that'll make sure that everything moves in unison. Here we go. Cool. All right, that's all connected. We're making a lot of good progress here. Like the beautifully thick-headed Italian I am, and no, that's not a shot to all Italians. It turns out if you download the 8 Sleep app, it walks you through the entire process seamlessly and perfectly. We have our app open over here. Again, the app seamlessly walks you through the entire process. We're gonna check now and see if this is flashing blue. So let's go ahead and see. There we go, so now it's flashing blue. All right, pairing to phone. So it is using Bluetooth at least right now. I know it uses Wi-Fi for quite a bit. So we're gonna have this connected here. Checking internet connection. Finally remembered the password. I totally didn't do like 5 different takes with that. Finish there, give your pod a name. Steven's Dreams. All right, let's set up your pod. So we have the base over here, which, like I said, we might have jumped the gun a little bit. So we got to the part here now where we have our base and our hub connected. Everything's all updated, good to go. Now we have to try this out, and I'm a little bit worried that the bottom of the base is a little close here to this. So we're gonna find out together. First, let's test the motion of the head area. Let's go ahead and check and see if that all works properly. Yes. All right, we're gonna check out the bottom here, and hopefully I don't destroy everything in the process. That's not moving. That's it. Stop. Okay. Boy. I mean, maybe I could try taking these out and then see what happens. All right, well, let's put that on pause to test the speakers. I do hear the speakers. All right, those are going down. That's good. Never told us that we had to have these in here. I know it's probably the right and the smart thing to have them in here, but at the end of the day, what these are doing is ultimately what that is doing. All right, so we're gonna take our mattress, we're gonna plop her back on down, and now there's more light in the room. Remember, always lift with your back, not with your knee. My goodness, this thing is stupidly heavy. All right. Mattress is back on, or at the point where we're setting up the encasement. Not the pod, not anything else. It's called the encasement. And this is kind of a sheet that's gonna go on top of your mattress or any padding that you have. If you are setting this up yourself, start with the app, make your account, and it's gonna walk you through this so much more seamlessly than you attempting to just do it on your own. Well, let's go ahead and this side face down. Everything's gonna go up towards the top. That's our top left corner. So tuck in the corners. Okay. Now, again, as I shared before, there's this tubing over here and there's a really tight squeeze behind headboard and the mattress. And I'm just a little bit worried about what that means as far as the water being able to circulate through there and also potentially damaging it. Really want to make sure that we're not going to end up putting like a kink of sorts in that hose. All right, now we have to connect the water cord. Well, we've somehow managed to get everything set up on here. We have the hub connected, we have the cover on, we have the base there. I'm still not confident that it's going to work well with the mattress frame that I have here. I think it's just too snug of a fit with the mattress on here. But we're at the part, like I said, where we have the blanket now, and I'm actually interested to see as far as how the blanket connects to the hub and to everything else. All right, so this is our blanket. Again, nicely packed. Fairly heavy, which I like a heavy blanket. So in the cover, that was actually what I was referring to. So in the cover on the bottom left, there is a cable under here. So we have to lift this on up. Here we have a cable that comes out of the blanket. Not something you think you'd ever say. We have a cable coming out of the blanket, and we also have a cable underneath the cover. So that's over here. So now we just have to connect the cable. Okay, right to right. Do this while I have the strength. Cool. All right, so that's not going to be something else that gets pinched. This is what I've been referring to over here, is that this is just a really, really general tight fit. It gets much tighter up there as it gets closer to the middle, but over here it's a little bit more space. So I think this is in the clear. All right, cool. Next part, let's move on. And so there's actually another one specifically for the side. So we're going to again lift up the cover again, and somewhere in here there's going to be a little, there we go, packaged perfectly in here. I love that thing. The engineering behind this is incredible. So putting this back down, then taking the cable left to left, so everything was set up correctly in there. Make sure it snaps on in. So now that we have that, again, that should be nice and safe. The time has now come where we're going to actually fill up the reservoir, most likely is the name of it. So we twist that off and let's go ahead and fill up the reservoir. Filled up the hub. We have the full tank of water going through there. It said it's going to take around 2 to 4 times of it circulating through everything. And we do have the cover, we do have the blanket, so it's probably going to take a little bit more than if it was just the cover itself. Now it's just circulating, so we'll check back in a few minutes. We'll probably have to do this maybe 1 or 2 more times or so at least. Then I think we're going to get into the fun part. Finally get into the fun part. Oh, can you hear it? Very quiet, very quiet. So again, we did a whole gallon, and that's what's remaining of this one. So a little bit more than 1.5 gallons of water that's in. So that should be hopefully the last time that we gotta let this run through here. So let's let it do its thing again. We'll check back in. So I finally have the 8 Sleep Pod 5 Ultra all set up, all hooked up, all set up with the phone. I've been in this bed for about an hour. I don't think I could be any happier in life, right? I mean, I could always be happier. You could always be a little happier. As far as being comfortable, this is the most comfortable I've been in a very, very long time. I have the sheet on right now, the cover beneath me, and it's perfectly cool. I have it at a -6. I have the base and in relax mode, so my feet and my legs are slightly elevated. The back, just a little bit. 8 Sleep, you guys absolutely knocked it out of the park with the Pod 5 Ultra. This has to be, besides buying a Tesla, this has to be the best way you could spend your hard-earned money. Again, 8 Sleep Pod 5 Ultra, use TOSV's discount. It'll save you quite a bit of coin there. You're not gonna regret getting this. You're welcome.